Sometimes I grow so tired. But I know I've got one thing I got to do. Ramble on. And now's the time is now. Sing my song. I'm going around the world, I gotta find my girl.
So who wants to start her off? Who wants to welcome us back? Would you like me to do it?
Welcome back.
Okay. Guys, how do we do this again? I don't quite remember it. How do podcast?
What is this thing in my face that I talk into?
Yeah. Am I speaking even into a microphone? I'm going to take these slippers off because they're killing me.
So
all right, everybody
started.
Yes.
Yes.
Start now. Everyone,
This is live.
Welcome back to the Ramble on the Mountain podcast.
3, 2, 1, go.
Coronavirus edition. We are coming at you live from 4 different places in the earth again. Different places than the last time. But since everybody's stuck inside, we decided, hey, what a better time to make a podcast. So here we are making that podcast. We have the same crew back again. I have myself, Ben, the boys. You guys want to do a little sound off? Casey? Garrett?
We're doing an audio podcast and Garrett makes a face for his sound off.
Garrett, are you there?
I heard some really scary xylophone sounding noise, so
That was
it
me.
spooked me a little bit.
Okay, so Garrett is here. Now, Ryan.
We're back. Better than ever.
Great. Off to just a tremendous start. So our plan today, we're going to try to keep it brief because some of us are still teleworking and our friend Ryan here has a meeting he has to get to. So we want to make sure we keep him nice and on time.
This is technically my lunch break.
Oh, well, okay, so do you have food with you or are you just eating your mic?
I'm eating up this great time with friends.
Great. Eating this wholesome content. So we're going to do another round of Colonel Mustard. For those of you that remember what Colonel Mustard is, it's a general catch-up of how we're doing since it's been a while. We also have a new segment wrapped around this coronavirus pandemic. For those of us that are all stuck inside, we have a little March Madness action, a bracket of things to do inside, and we're going to work through the bracket to see what is the number one thing to do while stuck inside due to the pandemic. And then if we have any time left over, getting to do some classic things like maybe some Ask Reddit or things like that. I got Reddit pulled up and we're ready to go. So without further ado, let's get into our Colonel Mustard. Would anyone, since I've been talking most of the time so far, would one of you guys like to give a little synopsis of what's been going on since May that we recorded?
Oh, it's been longer than
that long.
I think it's almost been a year.
Yeah, I left in May. So,
yeah.
Anyways,
this is,
one of you. Sure.
I'll start, but I want everyone to kind of give their general catch-ups for themselves. But it has been almost a year now, I believe. So everyone is in very different points of their life, not in a bad way, but change is part of life, and that's where we are. So since we last spoke, I have a full-time job now. I am not a graduate student, so I've graduated with my master's degree. I have a full-time job. I have my own apartment. I have a girlfriend. Everything is literally 180, I should say, than it was.
Everything's coming up minute.
Everything is 180 since the last time you all talked to me, so welcome back.
Woo!
Congratulations, buddy. That's awesome. For real, though, it's been cool to watch all of us grow, and Minik, you're doing a great job.
I love you, boys.
Yeah.
We love you.
All right, who's next?
Boog,
go ahead.
So last May, I don't know if we were still recording or not, but I did finish my undergraduate degree in teaching. Unfortunately, did not get a full-time teaching job. I've been substitute teaching. I moved out of town, not too far, but I do have an apartment with a good friend of mine. He was actually on the podcast last season, maybe 2 seasons ago. I don't know. There was a lot of jumbledness
Shout out
there.
Jenkins.
I don't even know what season we're on right now, but
Still season 2.
And we're living together. He started grad school. I've been working. Unfortunately, with the public schools being shut down, I am currently out of work. So what better way to spend that time than with the boys? So here we are.
Heck yeah. Heard that. Yeah, if you didn't hear me before, shout out Jenkins. All right, Dill, go ahead.
Since
Right.
last May, I don't know if I was working down at the Ches factory at that point or not, but still pumping out the Ches quicker than ever down in Hand and Cock.
Stop. Oh my god.
Hot start.
But got married in July, so I know that wasn't covered.
Yeah.
Moved to Scumberland. Bought a
Wow.
house with.
Sorry for those of you that live in Cumberland if you're listening.
It'll
Even
be
though
alright.
it's true. Anyway.
Hey, we're all from
Yeah.
there. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Got married, bought a house, still working full time.
Where's the kids?
Yeah.
Swimming.
We're thinking about another dog, so.
They're swimming in the
There's
jazz.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yuck. All right, Dill, is that all you got for now?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll pull up the rear. As far as distance goes, I've had the greatest change over the past months. I think we talked about it in the last one and even mentioned it, but my wonderful wife and I have moved to the United Kingdom. Specifically, we're living in England at the moment, just outside of Cambridge. It's been it's different, obviously. It's not the U.S. It's been a hard transition in some ways, but we really enjoy it for the most part. Moved out here for work. Things that have changed since then, other than obviously moving. We got another dog, another pug mix. His name is Timmy. He has a massive underbite and is really cute, and I love him. We've done some traveling. That was a lot of the purpose of coming out here. It's been a little hard getting used to the way things like finance and things are set up here, and I could get into that, but I'll just kind of leave it there. And then now, especially with all this going on for the foreseeable future into the summer, all borders are closed to almost everywhere, so no travel in the near future. But other than that, things are good. We got a house when we got here. We're renting, not buying. But basically everything I was doing before, I've just now started doing it here, essentially. And it's good. Everything is good.
Life is good.
Yeah. In the great words of Dill, life is good.
One of those T-shirts.
All right,
that
they should make a
everybody-
shirt. Yeah.
One of those T-shirts that everyone in Cumberland seems to find somewhere.
It's a total dad
Well, I'm
shirt.
glad to hear. I'm glad to hear everyone is doing well, and I'm sure those of you who are faithful listeners are glad to hear the same.
Praise be
with
unto you.
With that, let's move into our main activity and focus and motivation of this episode: the coronavirus, COVID-19. Everybody's dealing with it. It's not easy. And by no means are we making light of the situation. Just throw a disclaimer out now. This is meant to be both helpful and happy to those of you that are affected by this global pandemic. So the way it's set up is we have a 32-team bracket. Our different teams. Well, how about Garrett? Garrett, you had the idea. I'll let you kind of bring in the section. So go ahead.
Yeah, so, rather than breaking it up into 4 territorial regions, kind of the way that March Madness works, we've got 4 regional groups based off of, what types of activities we've got. So we've got, like Ben said, a 32-team bracket, and we've got 4 regions of 8. We'll call them teams. They're really activities that you could do inside. Maybe take it outside a little bit, but, maintain that social distancing that everyone's been talking highly of. So our first is small group activities. We'll give examples as we go through them and start eliminating teams one by one. Small group activities, we've got the arts, we've got electronics, which is everybody's favorite in today's society, and then we've got miscellaneous, and that, I can tell you, covers from sea to shining sea what it could possibly be. So you're in for a whirlwind there.
All right. Well, so however we want to get it started, Garrett, I think since this one was your idea, why don't you run the show?
All right. I think we're going to start off with the small group activities. We'll just kind of keep our discussions real brief because we do have, obviously 31 activities to eliminate. But I think just a majority rules, and that'll be the one that moves on. Does that sound cool with everybody?
Yep.
All right.
I say, why don't we throw out like a comment if you have a comment? Otherwise, we just vote.
All right. So for first round of the small group regional, we have board games at the 1 seed going against sitting in silence. That could be sitting with your wife, your spouse, your friends, whoever you're quarantined with.
Your doggo.
Board games, your dogs. Yeah, you got to get your 4-legged friends in there. So
If you have dogs, you're not sitting in silence.
No, I can
vouch for
confirm.
That is a fact.
All right.
All
So
right.
you boys.
Any comments?
Silence is nice, but board games wins every time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Board games.
Yeah, as a lifelong fan of board games, I'm gonna have to also go with board games on this one.
All right, yeah, I think that one was pretty easy. A couple of them are kind of funny, like we said earlier. We're not trying to make light of the situation, but I mean, really, some people, I'm sure, in their busy day-to-day lives, never have time to just sit in silence and enjoy the quiet.
Oh, yeah.
So
I appreciate some quiet time, but if I have to choose that, and between that and a board game, I would personally rather play a board game.
Ooh, I never even thought of sitting on the front porch with a nice beer. It's pretty nice, too, after a long day.
True.
We did not include front porch sitting in our
Yeah.
bracket, so
That's a whole different...
for all of our friends in the holler.
So looking to see who's going to be challenging board games in the second round. We've got cleaning up around the house, doing your chores at the 4 seed. And at the 5 seed, debating, going down a rabbit hole. That could be really anything, just any topic, kind of like we've done before with some of our topics about, like, am I the asshole, the love guru doctor? It could be anything. So just getting into deep conversations, really.
So I'll start off on this one. For this, for me, it would depend who I am quarantined with. So, if I was stuck in a room with the 3 of you, and we've done this many times, we would talk for hours and hours. That being said, my current situation, knowing that I do work 5 days a week, it would be really nice to clean and get caught up on what things I have to do around the house as far as cleaning and chores go. So that is 100% getting my vote this round.
Ditto. I live alone, and I agree.
Yeah, I don't think you ever really have enough time to get all the cleaning done that you need, so... Cleaning.
All right. Seeing as my vote doesn't matter, I was going to go with debating going down a rabbit hole, but that's because I like to debate and hear myself talk a lot. So cleaning and chores is moving on to the second round. Hey, honestly, I've done a lot better. I do a little bit daily, take on 1 task, 2 tasks. You don't have big tasks that pile up in a week or 2. So I've been trying to stay on top of that.
Good strategy.
All right. Moving on to the bottom half of the small group regional. We've got the 6 seed, which is going for a drive. This probably doesn't apply to everybody because where we come from, sometimes there's not a whole lot to do whether you're quarantined or not. So around here, it's a pretty common practice just to, pile 4 or 5 people in the car and go for miles and miles and just go see things. And
listen to some music, have a little jam session.
Yeah,
Throw some coins.
Yeah. And facing off against that in the 3 seed is ordering takeout, doing a mukbang. So if anyone's unfamiliar with the mukbang, It's a pretty common practice on YouTube. You order a bunch of food, sit down, and you hog out like you've never eaten before. So, obviously,
highly suggest, really quick, if you've ever watched a mukbang of mac and cheese, if you like ASMR, give it a try.
I think I'm gonna. That's a hard.
It's
pass
so.
for me, but
It's disgusting. Sorry.
I'm gonna be straight up and say, ordering takeout. I'm a big guy. I like to eat. I might not record myself and put it on the internet, but I'm recording this and putting it on the internet, so I'm gonna talk about it. I'm ordering takeout.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take the opposite side on this. So I don't necessarily want to go out to restaurants that have people in them, and I realize it's takeout. At this point, I'd rather go for a drive, even if it's by myself. I know social distancing in a car is much harder, but I'm going to take a drive. I think I'd rather take a drive and get out and feel a little fresh air, even if it's just to nowhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 1-on-1, Dill, you want to go next?
Yeah, looking at it like the fact that we're quarantined, I'd much rather go for a drive and get takeout food from somebody I don't know where their hands have been.
So to make things, not only to make things interesting, but this is just going to be my answer anyway, I would prefer to get takeout food. Common practice here in the UK, pubs, especially during this time, are switching to like making more food available for takeout. So it's not just your traditional like pizza or things like that. It's like right now I could walk down to the pub down the street and get a steak dinner and bring it to my house that I didn't have to cook. And I know the guy who cooks, and he cooks very well. So it's one less responsibility, even though there's nothing to do. Sometimes I'd rather have the takeout.
All right, so does that mean we have to do a coin flip for the winner?
I have a penny right here.
We didn't talk about this. All right, go ahead, Dill.
We need a fifth vote.
Heads for takeout.
Yeah, heads for takeout. Tails for takeout.
Do you want a fifth vote?
If we have a fifth vote, we'll take it.
Please ask Timmy.
Bork for takeout and Bark for driving.
Ben is going to fetch a response from his wife, so she is going to be our deciding factor and moving on. So
Bjork is even funnier because he lives in Europe now. So
okay, we have a verdict.
the
Candace's
verdict
sister has answered. Go out for a drive.
Going out for a drive, moves on the upset 6 over the 3 seed. All right. And our final matchup for the small group activities. I think this one's going to be pretty wow, I can't even speak. Decided pretty easily. But we have the 2 seed of drinking throwing a small soiree or get together versus home theater. So this isn't sitting and watching movies. We'll address that later. But this
I forgot what this was.
Maybe putting on a sock puppet show or
Shadow puppets.
dressing up, reenacting your favorite Shakespearean play. Any of those sort of ideas.
Cool, let me go in my closet and get my Shakespeare clothes while you finish this off.
So, who's starting off here? I think Dill should, since one is his favorite thing to do.
I was going to say, cheers to the drinking/party, which is what I'm doing right now.
You guys can't see, but he has a big old glass of bourbon in his hand right now.
Down the hatch.
I'll go.
All right.
As much, I think home theater was my input when we came up with the list. So normally I would defend it, but I do enjoy a good get together with drinking and small parties, especially in a time when you're supposed to be self-isolated. It'd probably be nice to just have some people around. So drinking and partying for me.
I'm not a big drinker, as you guys know, and as we've discussed, but I mean, it would be nice to see people, even if that does not include alcohol for me personally. So I'll take that one, even though shadow puppets are my second favorite thing to do in this world.
I'd drink to that. So I'll keep my answer short and sweet to the point. And that wraps up the regional of the small group activities. Moving forward, we've got the arts. Some of these could be argued. They all have some artistic quality to them. I guess we'll say that.
Creative.
Creative. Thank you, Ben. The creative one
You're
comes
welcome.
up with the answer. So, we're gonna start off again with the high seed, low seed matchup. We've got the 1 seed of cooking and baking. That could really, a lot of things qualify under that. Maybe just finding a new recipe to try out. The 8 seed of learning an instrument. I'm sure more than half the people in the country have some sort of musical instrument just laying around their house that they haven't picked up in years, if they ever have. So, somebody want to start off with this one?
I'm gonna go with cooking / baking. Ever since we moved, it's fun to try all the new recipes and everything.
Personally, for me, I recently just moved out onto my own as well. So cooking for me has really been a big thing. I've learned that I've actually enjoyed. While I would like to learn an instrument, seeing as we're on a possible only 14-day quarantine, I don't think I have the time to master that, but I could learn how to make a new casserole. So I'm going with cooking.
Fair enough. Minnick?
I will also go with cooking unless air guitar and air drums counts, and in which case it does not. Let's go with cooking.
So even though cooking has won, I would actually go for the instrument. For a while, I used to play guitar a little bit as a kid. I've really wanted to relearn. 1, because it's just cool to be able to say you can play an instrument, and 2, because I love the guitar. So I would have voted for that, but that's irrelevant.
All right, so cooking's moving on. Our middle seed, the 4 versus the 5, we've got writing coming in at the 4 seed, and we have photography. And this isn't just, snapping a pic, throwing it on Instagram. This is, thought out. I mean, it could be random, but getting out, actually finding artistic value in things and not just snapping a selfie of somebody, which I'm not going to say does not have that value, but something just a little more meaningful.
Any sense of taking a picture with intent. I'll go first on this one since I went last on the last one. I'm going to have to go with writing. 1, I would love to come up with like a webcomic series, and it's something I don't do a lot, writing. But it'd be good to be able to write stories, to come up with characters, and get into things like that. So writing for me.
Well, I'm gonna switch it up and say photography. Just because, I don't know, I enjoyed writing in school, but I wasn't really that great at it, I guess. So I'm just gonna have to go with photography.
Unfortunately, I'm the deciding vote here. Photography, it's beautiful, it's easy to share, but writing, I just think that, it's easy to see emotion in that. It holds more artistic value to me than photography does. Sorry, Lee Brown.
Wow.
Just
At my dad.
just
Taking
for me
shots
out of here.
personally, also,
Shout out.
The things that I like to see in photography being sports events. I love to see photos from concerts. Both those things are out the window right now. So you're not going to see me out taking pictures of too many trees right now. So I'm going to say I'm staying inside and writing. So we have the 3 seed of drawing and the 6 seed that could sneak in as a upset winner here, gardening.
Minnick, start it up.
Sure. So we've picked the 2 things that I'm probably the worst at on planet Earth to be the 3 and 6 matchup. But I guess I've always wished I could draw. That's always been one thing that I wish I could do better. Unfortunately, I'm a terrible artist, but I'm gonna pick draw just because even if it's just doodling, drawing to me is more entertaining than gardening personally. It's nice and blurred out and can't see it.
Is that squid?
My dinner just walked in. We have fish, scallops, I believe, and
It's a squid.
what else?
Did you guys notice that he
Was
said
it?
his dinner
Oh,
walked
and
in and
mussels.
then he said it was fish? Like it's all eggs, like the second.
And was it?
Couscous. We got some couscous and haddock.
Boot Scoot and Boogie.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, boot scoot and boogie.
The food's so nice they named it twice.
I'll try not to like clang my stuff around.
Yeah.
I
Whenever
don't
you
know how it's
bite,
gonna work. But
whenever you eat off your fork, grind your teeth on it because Garrett really likes
Go to
that.
hell. You can just go to hell.
you mean like this?
I couldn't hear
I didn't
it
hear
at all.
it. There you go.
Yeah, that's one of the most unpleasant sounds. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward and say drawing, just because it's been like 40 degrees outside and ain't shit gonna grow right now. So, as much as I suck at drawing, I'm gonna try to get better at it.
Even though I know Ben's probably gonna say drawing, I'm gonna go with gardening. Just because I've never been that good at drawing, and actually, Garrett, shit is growing outside right now because these tulips out here are blooming.
Basically, what Dill's saying is he wants to learn to grow wheat so he can do his own.
He grows wheat. He can get cows. Cows can eat the wheat. He can milk them. He can start his own cheese factory.
There you
That's
go.
the true plan.
Suck it, Penland Pure.
Brilliant. So, I guess it's me.
I'm already writing down the winner.
I've already done my fair share of drawing, and it would be my pick because I enjoy drawing very much. However, I'm going to put a plug in for gardening here. I think it's something that people don't do enough, and people should do more of, especially as the world continues to go south and things are getting gross and overproduced and have steroids and all this crap in them. There's a lot of value, one, in growing food to eat, and also learning to garden. So, drawing is the best, but do some gardening when you get a chance.
Fair.
Good answer.
All right. And rounding out the arts category.
At Blue Design on Instagram. That's 2 B's, by the way. If you want to
Peep that
give
word.
me a follow.
That Ghost Malone was a beauty.
Yeah.
I loved that so much, man.
Yeah, the Ghost Malone and the Joker.
So, rolling in at the 2 seed is starting a social media career. You could argue that this is electronics, but sometimes it does require some artistic influence. You know, like Ben having his drawing account on Instagram. He's not just creating TikToks and posting him dancing half naked, so there is some artistic value there.
I will do that if you're asking.
Check out his OnlyFans. That is Blue Design.
It's just his drawings. You will be very
It's just me
disappointed.
drawing. It's just me drawing naked.
You might be onto something there, honestly.
Who
So-
knows?
Your social media career squaring off against one of our own favorite hobbies, well, second favorite hobbies behind getting drunk, is woodworking, craftsmanship.
Well,
Dill.
you know my answer.
Alright.
Yeah. So we got one for Dill. One from Dill.
I think there's already too many people on the platforms that exists, so I'm going for crafting.
Let's go Bob Smileys.
You know what? I'm actually going to pick the upset here too. You know, social media is a hard thing to break through on, and I think everybody just thinks that, you know, oh, I can be a star because I can do this. You know what? Learn to craft something. Do that.
Use your hands and build something. I'm telling you.
So give me that 7 upset.
All right, and I was gonna agree. Even though I do have a secret OnlyFans account that I do post to regularly, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, please tell me you're telling the truth.
Yeah, please
No,
tell us your username.
absolutely not.
I'll pay the premium monthly subscription.
Woodworking is moving on with the upset. So, would somebody else want to go ahead and do the right side of the bracket, or you want me to just keep on keeping on?
It's up to you. I only suggested it since it was your idea. If you're comfortable, if not, if you want somebody else to go ahead, I would just vote please not me because I'm also eating at the same time, which I know is bad podcast etiquette, and I apologize, but I'm trying to be quiet.
Minnick, you want to do electronics and I'll do miscellaneous?
Sure.
All right.
All right. And so let's move into our other side of the bracket here. Let's go with electronics. So probably the thing, and I think this was mentioned, that we value the most in this world, electronics. So we came up with eight teams, 4 matchups for this. So let's start with our 1 versus 8 matchup. Streaming, that can be anything from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, watching TV, basically any type of TV show you can watch, versus the dreaded teleworking, because everyone is doing that, and to some degrees of variance for some is working out great. I think it's working well for me, but some may not be so lucky. So, streaming or teleworking?
Somebody else?
I'll start it off. Definitely streaming. I'm still stuck at work. Again, making ches, so whenever I am quarantined at home, I'd like to be streaming, watching TV.
You can't telework. Yeah, you can't telework the ches.
You can't make ches online, trust me.
The cheese wheel does not stop rolling.
I'm gonna speak from the other side of the spectrum there. I'm currently without a paycheck. So if it meant I could stay in and do my job, I would absolutely do that. So I'm pulling for the upset, but I have a feeling I know where this one's going, but I'm going with telework for this one.
So, off my personal preference, I'm going to go with streaming and watching things like TV. However, I do want to take a moment to reach out to all the people that are negatively affected by this. I know a couple people who have been laid off from their jobs, and I just can't imagine a more unfair scenario, and I do feel for you deeply, and I wish I could make things better. So shout out to the people who are negatively affected. We're thinking of you, and you're going to make it through. But streaming for me, sorry.
Yeah, I think I would pick streaming too, but I agree with Ben, and I do feel for you, Garrett. I understand that everyone's situation is different with this, and again, like Ben said, we feel for those people, and I want to help those people any way I can that do that. So, I hope everything corrects itself soon so you can get back to teaching and other people can get back to their industries, ones that are furloughed and laid off, whatever it may be. But we'll move streaming on, even though we understand the importance of a job.
Real quick, tailpipes, we're thinking of you. Please don't go into the light. Or did they already go into the light?
What?
Tailpipes is apparently closed.
And Clutch.
Oh my God!
I had just won a gift certificate.
I remember that.
Gift
just
certificate on
me.
Twitter.
Man, what a... Hey, so will this $15 get me one of your ovens?
This is the worst news in months.
Emma told me, she said, hey, we should use that gift certificate. And I was like, oh, I just really want to go home. I haven't seen my family. And then I get the news that, yeah. So
I just want to die right now.
That's crazy, man.
Rip Clutch. Rip tailpipes.
Man, the milkshakes and the burgers.
Exactly.
Damn it.
How about a Burgatory? How about Morgantown gets a Burgatory?
Ooh.
Yes. I'm not even there and I'm in.
All right, so let's move to our 4-5 matchup. Number 4, online shopping, because we can get down that rabbit hole of shopping and spending money that some of us don't have in this time. And also the rabbit hole rather, number 5 of social media. So, boys, whoever wants to start. Yeah, we'll go to an alternate dimension of social media.
Honestly.
I'll go first. We decided earlier that Reddit is a social media. Therefore, I'm going social media. Reddit for life.
Speaking on my own behalf, if I get into the rabbit hole of online shopping, I'm always tempted to spend money that I might have but I can't afford to spend. Whereas if I get stuck in that realm of going from a rap video on Facebook to a guy melting shit with a sword, I've never once had to spend $1 for that kind of entertainment. So for that reason, I'm going with social media.
Yeah, same here with social media. I just don't have the money to blow online shopping. So.
I will make that the clean sweep and say social media too. I will say though to the point that Garrett made earlier about many people being out of work. I did buy something online. I was supposed to go to a concert last week for a band that I've wanted to see for many years. They're called Fit for a King. I don't know if anybody listens to them, but Fit for a King, basically one thing that a lot of people don't realize with bands is touring bands make their money that way. So they were like $30,000 in debt with the merch that they bought. So basically you have to buy all that up front. And I mean, you don't pay it off until you make money and pay it back. So they had to put all of their merch up online, and I bought something from them. I mean, other than that, I'm limiting myself, but I just wanted to support a band and a group that I knew that I was going to see. So, but social media for the win. All right, so let's move down. Our 3 versus 6 matchup, kind of two similar platforms here. So without much explanation, let's just say our 3 is watch YouTube. You can get down again another rabbit hole of videos with YouTube, or the up and coming, maybe even more popular platform now of Twitch streaming. So, boys, if whoever wants to start it off.
I'm gonna go with YouTube. Just because, like Garrett said, you can start with like music videos, and you can get into some of the weirdest shit you've ever seen on the internet on the other end of YouTube, and you can just spend hours and hours and hours killing time on YouTube. So
I'm also, even though I nominated Twitch as an idea, I'm gonna go with YouTube because there's just so much content, and usually with YouTube, people get the chance to edit and do things like that a lot more than they do with Twitch. I do like the aspect of Twitch that it's live, and then you can like directly interact with the people that are streaming. There's a lot of musicians actually that do Twitch, and I highly suggest if you get a chance, look up some of those people. But YouTube.
Look,
I'm also gonna go with YouTube. You have the idea of like modern current content that people putting out daily vlogs and stuff, but you can also go back and watch some classic viral videos as well. Those never get old. I mean, they age with grace. So I'm going with YouTube for that reason.
I'll take the clean sweep with YouTube. I think there's more variety on YouTube, personally, like you said, Garrett. Twitch is cool. I do enjoy the aspect that Ben mentioned where you can interact with people. That is cool, where it's a more personal thing, but give me YouTube. YouTube's moving on. All right, final matchup, boys. In the electronics region, our 2 and 7 matchup. 2 things that I feel like a lot of people are doing in this day and age. Or this time, I guess I should say. Number 2 is play video games, whether that's with your friends online or by yourself, or just simulating hockey games because you're that bored. Or, for reference, that's something that I did last night. I just put the CPUs on against each other and just watched a game like I was actually there. Sad times. Or number 7, which would kind of fall in line with TV, but it is a little bit different. Or watch the news. So are we playing video games or watching the news, boys?
Video games. Don't even need an explanation. Video games.
Yeah, I'd rather vomit for hours than watch the news. So, video games.
Now there's values in watching the news, especially if you want to stay informed.
I like to catch up on my news online, scrolling and reading. I can't stand watching the news.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I'm playing video games. I mean, I have been at home anyway. Like Ben said, there is value in watching the news, just staying informed. But don't believe everything you see just because your favorite politician says that it's true. Actually read up. There's some agencies that are actually putting out good information right now, and it's actually pretty easy to follow along on social media. So turn off the news networks, in my opinion, and just stay informed on your own terms. But video games for the clean sweep.
Very good. All right. Dill, do you want to take over for miscellaneous?
Yeah, sure. So, with we're all the way at the bottom. So, for the number 1 seed in miscellaneous, going against the number 8 seed, number 1 is nap or sleep, and going against the number 8, take one for the team. Which, I mean, you can either just go out there and start licking every sucking thing you can see, or however you wanted to go about it.
Basically, just go get the coronavirus is what we're suggesting.
Or you can just
Those person actually
sleep
go out
in.
there and lick everything you can see.
Every sucking thing.
Yeah.
Every sucking thing.
Lick
never
every
cuss.
sucking thing you can see.
Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little disclaimer. We did mention earlier that this was to be lighthearted. So, I mean, like, our thoughts are with people that have been negatively affected. But we just saw this as an opportunity. You know, it's kind of saying, you know, the people that just kind of go out and are being reckless right now. Not really.
Cheap flights.
Yeah, cheap flights. I mean, I personally considered it. I found a round trip to Denver, Colorado for $60, and I really considered it, but I decided
go.
against it.
Let's
So,
go.
with that being said, I'm going to start off and say, I like to nap. I like to nap regardless. So I'm going to just sleep off this pandemic and wake me up when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a nap, but you know, to your point, Garrett, and to everyone's point, just be responsible, folks. Like, don't. Again, just because someone says it's true or this, that, or the other, just do the things that the CDC and WHO recommend you do. Figure that stuff. Who?
Ew.
Who?
You knew we were going to say it.
But you just do those things that they recommend. You know, again, this was meant to be funny. Obviously, we don't want anyone to get it. I mean, we want to put that disclaimer behind it. For all those that have been adversely affected by it in any what way that may be, loss of a family member, obviously we don't want that to happen. It's not a laughing matter. It's not a serious, or it is a serious subject, but just, yeah, wow.
And you're laughing at a non-laughing matter.
Yeah, here we go again. But seriously, take it seriously. Don't use this as an opportunity to be reckless and crazy. Follow the guidelines so we can get rid of this thing, so we can get back to normal life.
Give him his sports back. I'm going to give a nod to take one for the team, but I'm going to sleep all day. Any chance I can get.
All right, clean sweep for napping/sleeping. And for the next round, we've got reading in the number 4 slot. And going up against the number 5 slot, go to work and just go about your normal day. Who wants to start?
I'll go. I've been reading a lot lately, so I'm going to stick with reading on this one.
Good answer.
I'll go with reading as well. As much as I will say that teleworking for me has been pretty successful so far. So I'll go with reading, even though I've not in fact done any reading. I do like the normalcy, but let's read.
Thank you.
But you go.
Oh, sorry. So in the last round, I did nod toward telework. But I was just being a stick in the mud. But honestly, in reality, like, that would be my truth. But going to work and going about your day as normal, I can't really necessarily agree with. So I'm going to stay and I'm going to read. I'm going to try. I read at a 4th grade level, but hey, get me some Clifford books and I'll be good to go.
Any reading is good reading.
Even though my vote doesn't matter at this point, I do enjoy reading, but I'm stuck going to work and going about my everyday, so.
That doesn't mean you want to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm still getting overtime paychecks, so there's that side of
Get
it
that
too.
bread.
And cheese.
No, that cheese.
All right. So reading on to the next round. The next we have at the number 3 slot, self-care, which you can
Shout
take
out,
that
Matt.
any way you want. And going up against a 6th seed, pet time.
This might be the toughest matchup in the entire bracket.
True.
Because self-care could really be anything. You know, obviously take care of yourself and do what you want to do, but man, would I love to have a pet right now.
Yeah, I have 2 lovely doggos that drive me crazy every day, but are great nonetheless. And for me, at least, that is a version of self-care. So I'm going with my pets, even though it's the underdog. I'm taking the underdog.
Personally, I love my dog to death. but I mean, I've got some. I've struggled with some mental health issues throughout my life, so sometimes it's really good for me, especially in like times like this where like social media news outlets are bringing this anxiety onto you. You got to have self-care. So I mean, sometimes you tweak a muscle and you just got to rub one out. So but that's not the point that I'm making, even though that may fall under that category. You got to take care of yourself in these, dire times. Yeah. So take care of yourself.
Love yourself.
I mean, if you're on social media,
respect yourself.
If you're on social media, everyone has seen that joke. That's not just exclusive to the four of us. That is a pretty circulated joke amongst the world's population.
All right, so
won?
Pets with the win, right? I think it was a clean sweep. All right, so for the last round, we have the number 2 seed of Grocery Hunting going up against the 7 seed of Going to the Bathroom, Use That TP.
I'm starting off by saying you're an asshole if you buy 200 rolls of toilet paper.
Unless you have 200 buttholes to wipe, you don't need 200 rolls of toilet paper.
Right. There's exceptions if you run daycares or you're buying for your whole community. That's one thing. But if you're just stockpiling, honestly, you can go to hell.
Don't do it for the meme.
Yeah. It's not cool. It's not funny. It's funny, the first time you see a picture of somebody with 200 rolls of toilet paper, but to see that in real life and you're going around with a crusty booty hole all day, that's not funny anymore. So, with that being said, I went to Walmart yesterday. I made the trek. It was scary. It was real. I mean, Ben, you said the same thing over your way. Things are wiped out. So, I mean, grocery hunting, I'm going to go with grocery hunting because, I mean, it was just an interesting thing. Plus, it is kind of fun to go out and try to see what you can piece together with what you can actually find.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm actually gonna say go to the bathroom and use the teepee, because while it is fun to go out and do it, it's honestly kind of scary. Like when you go out, it feels like you're in the set of a horror movie. And I'm also gonna use this time to say, like we already have, do not panic buy. Like get what you need. There are elderly folks. There are people who cannot physically get to the places that you are buying from at the same time. The reason things are going out so fast, the stock levels are normal, but people are buying way more than they usually do. So that it puts everybody behind, and you're just making more of a problem. So don't do that. I'm going to go to the bathroom and use the TP.
I'm with Ben on this one, actually. I was out on Monday to buy one thing, and it wasn't, I guess it really wasn't too odd of a trip for 10 a.m. on a Monday morning once I left my job to just grab that quick thing and come home. But honestly, at this point, I have pretty much everything I need, and I think and would hope that a lot of people do. But at this point, in a quarantine, I don't want to be out too much, so I'm going to stay home and use the bathroom and hopefully not use all my toilet paper.
I'm unfortunately going to have to split the difference and say grocery hunting because as soon as all this crap started happening, I went downstairs to get the next roll of toilet paper for the bathroom. I was like, oh shit, we only have 4 rolls left, and Walmart's clean out of toilet paper.
So you're not trying to use the toilet paper because you don't have much to use.
3 squares at a time. We're rationing that TP.
No grocery or use the TP or have.
This is a mutually exclusive thing. If you go grocery shopping, you can't go to the bathroom.
Grocery hunting wins.
Ooh.
All right.
Thank you.
Almost pulled off the episode.
Good game that went into overtime.
I wish somebody on a big podcast would have come up with this idea, and then people that could watch it live and have live betting on it. That would be awesome.
Well, hopefully that's what happens with ours, but
So, going back to the small group region, we've got 1 and 4 board games, and the 4 seed cleaning and chores. I'm gonna just go ahead and say board games for me.
I'm gonna go board games.
Board games.
I was gonna say clean, so let's go with board games.
Board games moving
There
on
she is.
one more time.
Yeah, game of life.
All right. So here we've got two things that are great separately, horrible going together. The 2 seed of drinking, the 6 seed of driving. So, are we going for a drive?
Beautiful.
Are we going for a drive, or are we drinking with the boys?
I'm
Drinking
gonna
with the
stick
boys.
Stick with the drinking or partying with your friends. Just because, like
Come
I
on
said,
over. We got a
you need-
fridge full.
Gotta
Tired
have
of the
that social-
isolation.
Yeah.
Leave the drinking out of it for me, but give me the social time.
All right. So we are going with the 2 seed drinking. We've got a 1 and 2 matchup heading into the next round. But that being said, we've got the arts. So our first matchup is the 1 and 4 cooking, baking, trying new recipes up against creative writing. Bean.
cooking and baking. I as much as I value writing as a life skill, I would rather cook and bake.
All right.
Same.
All right. So I think we got a clean sweep for cooking. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I like to eat. I like to make it just as much anymore. And then we've got the 3 and 7 drawing versus woodworking. We're putting 2 of our hosts against each other. Bob Smiley versus Blue Design.
Garrett, I feel like this should just be us debating which one we want to win.
You already got our votes.
Yeah, I'm not voting for you, Ben.
Yeah, I'm not voting for you, Dill.
This one's tough. I mean, obviously with the 7 seed coming from behind against the social media career woodworking. I like to have a tangible product that I can pick up and see and use.
Smell.
I mean, you walk into a wood shop.
Smell that sweet cedar and pine.
I think I'm going with the upset again and taking woodworking.
You can decide whatever you want, buddy. I won't be mad if you pick crafting.
I'm going with drawing.
Woodworking, you son of a gun.
I'm not great at either one, so flip that coin.
All right, Dill
All right.
with the coin flip.
Heads for what? Somebody
Heads
tell me.
for
Heads
draw,
Heads
tails
drawing.
for craft.
Heads for drawing, tails for craft. And I swear I'm not cheating. Heads.
Drawings
Yay.
moving on. Oh man. We've got the 1 seed pitted against the 5 seed, streaming your Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Vudu, the list goes on, versus social media, scrolling endlessly for hours and hours, looking through videos of frogs giving birth and Lord knows what else. I'm sure I could think of something. Hockey highlights. Minnick's dying right now.
It's a good thing
Can't
Ben
even get a
didn't
word
hear
out.
that. I'm gonna go with streaming slash TV. I don't know. I think it's just easier, and like whenever I think of what was it up against social media.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah, like just sitting there scrolling through my phone for hours, my head starts to hurt, and I love it easier. There's so much different stuff you can watch online.
Give me streaming, because a couple times scrolling through Instagram, I've got the notification that you're all caught up. Give me streaming.
Sorry, what were the votes?
We've got the 1 seed streaming versus the 5 seed social media.
What's the current situation?
2-0 streaming.
2-0 streaming.
Yeah. So I'm currently streaming Dragon Ball. So I'm gonna have to go with streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go with the clean sweep here and say streaming. There's really no need for me to give an explanation. If that comes to in the next round, that's fine. But we're going to move on with streaming as the 1 seed running strong. Up next, we have 2 of the big ones, especially with today's younger crowd. Not like the last 2 weren't. But YouTube versus gaming.
I'm gonna start and say gaming. Just because, I don't know. I don't have an explanation.
I've found enjoyment in video games over the past few days and in the evenings, so I've watched a lot of YouTube too, but give me video games.
What do you think, Tim?
I think Timmy's blurred out. He looks like somebody on Cops that we're not allowed
Timmy
to see.
says Bjork.
Um, I'm gonna say. What's the votes?
2-0.
2-0 video games.
2-0. I'm gonna go video games. Yeah. I hate to put another 1 and 2, but video games.
It's a clean sweep again. Video games for me. YouTube's something I do when I'm getting ready. If I really want to pass time, though, I'm gonna sit around and play video games. So we got another 1-2 matchup, and our final regional. We've got our 1 seed of napping, which I think has a good chance of going the whole way, versus reading.
One does the other for me, so let's let's nap. Let's just cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
I, for one, no, I would do reading. I love sleeping, but there is something. It makes me feel smart to read because I'm not smart.
Nonsense.
Bullshit.
I do like to read anymore, but working third shift sucks. So I'm gonna nap and sleep all I can.
And I work with kids all day. I'm not working right now, but they have me in the habit of 3:30 hits around. I'm out like a light for at least half an hour. So I'm taking a nap. Sorry, Bean.
It's fine.
And our final matchup of the round of 16, the 2 seed of Grocery Hunting, which had a controversial finish last time, versus Pets. Spending time with your 4-legged friends.
Yeah,
Pets.
or 3 if something happened.
Well,
Jeez.
If you guys,
Take it easy, man.
there's a dog on Instagram right now with 1 ear. It sits in the middle. It's
Yes, it has like a ponytail.
yeah. Her name's Ray. I followed her immediately. It didn't take long at all. Give me the upset. If you would tell me, hey, would you rather go grocery shopping or pet a dog? I'm gonna pet a dog all the time. So you know what? Continue to give me the dog. Give me the upset.
I spent many a night napping with my dogs. Give me my dogs.
and I'm going with Brian for the clean sweep of Pets, moving on with the upset. Does anybody want to take over for the final 4, or should we just keep rolling along?
Well, I haven't done it yet, so
Well, Bean,
I
you
guess
got the
I
big-
can bring in the energy.
Well, to set up
Heading
the
into
final
the-
4, not
Oh
the
my
final
God!
4.
It's the Undertaker's music.
Yeah, so we're going into the Elite 8 matchups. We'll start with our group activities section. We have the number 1 seed board games going up against the number 2 seed of drinking and partying with friends. Go.
Drinking. Because. Not just because I'm an alcoholic. If you have a party
Not just
and you're
because of
drinking,
that.
a lot of times we'll start playing board games.
True.
I was going to
They
follow
would pair well together.
the same kind of logic. Really, the only times as an adult that I play board games is if I'm drinking. So I'm going with drinking as well.
I'm going to go with the board game. As much as I love sharing a drink and hanging around with my guys, most of the time, if we're hanging out, I would rather be playing a game or doing something like that. So board games for me.
It's news to us.
I'm sending this one to a coin
Because you're
flip.
not my friend.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I've said every round I don't need drinking. Personally,
Hey, Manic, I'm just wondering, do you drink much?
just trying to
You must be dehydrated, man.
finish off that 2-month supply of body armor.
Arnold Palmer's. Arnie Palmy alert.
All right. Heads for drinking, tails for board games. Tails.
Tails it is.
are
Board
moving
games.
on.
Moves on to the next
Wow.
round.
I'm still
Pour
gonna
one out
drink.
for your drinking buddies. All right, moving on to the artistic and creative side of the bracket. We have the overall winner for me, number 3, drawing, heading into the match with number 1, cooking, baking, and trying new recipes. I'll just go ahead and start. I would rather draw.
I would rather cook.
Yeah, I
One on
mean,
one.
I think I'm cooking. I hate to send on the 1 seed because I love an upset story, but
Yeah, we're
it
just gonna have nothing but one
depends
seeds.
depends on Minnick.
You're a 1 seed for a reason, though. That's kind of the idea behind it. So,
Yeah.
again, not a great drawer, so I'd rather cook.
All right. bye-bye, drawing, hello, cooking, baking, and new recipes. Which I'll agree. I think there's nothing better, especially if you have people around to cook with. Cooking with other people is a lot of fun. Definitely give it a try if you're stuck in this quarantine. And the third part of our bracket, we have our electronics section. We have the heavy hitter of streaming and TV, heading up against the other heavy hitter of video games.
This is like Duke and
Garrett,
North
go
Carolina in
first.
the Elite Eight.
So I mean, this is one that is really tough. I love to stream. There's a lot of shows that I do like to keep up with on Netflix, but for me personally, I mean, there's such a diverse realm of video games, and I have the Xbox Game Pass where there's like 100 games you can download and play anytime you want. Plus, I mean, you can get your boys in on it. Like, I like to sit down, and I mean, we've been talking about getting involved with the online NHL realm, and I mean, that just sounds great to me. So I'm gonna play video games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with video games too. It's just more entertaining. It's something you can actually interact with rather than just sitting there soaking shit in.
Go ahead, Minnick.
I have both of these things. I've done both of these things, but I've actually enjoyed more playing video games the last few days. I guess because I don't get to do it as much. So.
Yeah. I think gaming, one, people don't get to do it as much with work and things like that, so it's a great thing to do when you have time. But also for longevity, the chances of me falling asleep while watching something are much higher than me falling asleep while playing a video game. So, with that, the first number one seed falls. Goodbye, streaming and TV. Welcome, video games. Number 2, which is not that much. Either way, number 1 is gone. And heading into the last part of the bracket, we have the number 6 seed, the underdog, spending time with your pets, versus our 4th number 1 seed, napping and sleeping. Minnick, go first.
This is a tough one.
This is tough because you could definitely take a nap with a pet, but again, I don't have a pet, so it's weird because as much I would love to be able to have a pet in this situation, but I think I would just have to nap. It's more responsibility.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with nap too because I nap with my dog. So.
Okay, Garrett.
Again, I hate seeing those 1 seeds move on, but I mean, in my daily routine, napping's one of those things. So I mean, I think that's gonna really help me get through the shutdown of everything. So I'm gonna go with nap. I love my dog though.
So nap moves on. I would have gone for pets. As much as I enjoy sleeping myself, I'm not one to nap a lot. And I also like that there's a lot more I can do with my pets. It's a good way to get outside. Just take them for a walk or play or lounge around. Just a lot to do there, but that's okay. Napping and sleeping moves on to our final 4. Going into the final 4, we have our 3 number 1 seeds. We have the small groups going against the artistic and creative fields. We have the number 1 seed board games coming off a shocking, what was that? That was a coin flip, right? Against drinking and partying with friends. And then cooking beat out drawing in the last round. So we have cooking, baking, and new recipes versus board games. And with that, I will open it up.
Bust it open.
Bust it open. Yeah, real good. All right, well, I'm going to go with board games. I just like board games.
I'm going to go with cooking/cleaning, or cooking/baking.
Hey, remember that one that bounced in the second round? Let's bring it back.
I don't even know what game we're playing.
Dark Horse. All right.
Where am I?
So 1-1.
I'm gonna go with cooking as well. I just really don't get too much enjoyment out of playing board games anymore. But I do like to eat though. So
Fair enough. Minnick?
So I'm actually gonna send this one to a coin flip because
Ooh.
I do enjoy cooking, But I will say, in the last 7 months that I've been dating Mariah, she has
Shout out Mariah.
she has returned me into a board game person because she loves them so much. So when she's like, "Let's play Monopoly" or something like that, like I get excited. Like for the longest time, it was like. For the longest time, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I don't want to play Battleship. I think it's because I work with kids and they just got on my nerves. But
Yeah.
but now I enjoy it.
We threw in, I think we said we were throwing in like card games and things like that as well with that, and I'll play a card game all day long for days on end. So that's why I'm a big champion of board games. So with that, we have a tie. Candace is out of the shower if you want me to go ask her, but you should probably be easier to just flip a coin.
I say we flip the coin and go buzzer beater at this point. You know,
right.
little March Madness for everybody.
Heads for board games, tails for cooking. It is tails.
Tails. So cooking beats out board games. Ooh, it's a sad day. But that's okay. Cooking is important.
Gotta eat.
All right. And going in, we have our final two big matchups: electronics versus the miscellaneous categories. Two heavy hitters. The number two seed of video games versus the number one seed of napping and sleeping. I'm going to say video games because, once again, I don't really like to nap and I love video games.
Yeah, I'm going to go with video games too. Even though I do enjoy napping and sleeping, you can sleep when you're dead. And play video games while you're alive.
Yep. Solid.
I will. I'm sorry, Garrett. I'm gonna minimize your vote here, but I'm gonna go with video
I'm used
games.
to it.
we live in a democratic society, right? In the event of a pandemic, even though I like to nap more than play video games has given me more enjoyment in doing this because it's something additional to do. Where sometimes I may come home and take a nap after work, similar to what Garrett said, video games has given me more enjoyment during this time.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
All right, and with
video games.
with that, yes, thank you, Garrett. With that, video games moves on into the championship matchup. So, out of
sorry, Garrett, I wasn't necessarily expecting you to say nap, but I if you were, I was just cutting it out.
Fair enough.
we're all friends here. All right, 32 teams in, 2 teams left, or two events. Sorry. So, who will be the coronavirus pandemic thing to do champion? We have the number one seed of cooking, baking, or trying out new recipes versus the number 2 seed of the heavy hitter in video games. With that, let us decide who will reign supreme. Minute, go first.
I know.
So I understand why both of these are important. Obviously, you can look at me and see that I love to eat. But as my defense of the last round for video games, that will move into the championship as well. Even though I do love eating and I do cook and enjoy making new recipes, what has gotten me through these few days in the evenings is playing video games. I tweeted this a couple days ago, but I hooked up my PlayStation 3 for the first time in probably 6 years.
That's insane to me.
Maybe it was only 4 or 5, but I mean, still, it has been a long time since I've done that, and it has stayed plugged in since. So I'm going with video games. That's my what to do during a pandemic lock-in challenge winner.
All right. Dill, you look eager. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just an eager guy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Minnick. As much as I do like to cook and try new recipes and everything, as a time killer, video games is definitely the go-to. Especially if you're playing with other people. And like if I play one game I'll get bored after about a couple hours or something, but you can switch right over to something completely different and be entertained for another 2 hours. So,
All right. Garrett, you had to go last time, so you go ahead and go.
So cooking for me is still kind of a new thing, so it's really exciting. I do enjoy it, and I mean, plus you get to eat what you try after that, and that's the best part of it. I'm going with video games though, because you know what? I love to cook, but it's not very stimulating at times. It's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of, if I'm looking to pass time during a quarantine, I want something that's going to be stimulating, and I can sit there and do something from start to finish. Cooking, half of it's prep, half of it's wait. So, for that reason, I'm sending video games on to their first ring.
plus you got to clean up.
And with the absolute sweep, I will also say video games. Surprise there, a group of 20-something guys picked video games as the passerby for being stuck inside.
Extra guys in your house or something?
20-something-year-old.
I got like 6 or 7 down in my basement.
I'm gonna put a plug in for the new game coming out on Friday. I've been talking about with these boys, Animal Crossing, things like that. I think video games are always going to be a great escape for anyone, because we already have to deal with real life every single day. So it is about the closest thing you can come to just escaping from your life, being something else, doing things you would never be able to do in your real life. Like for us, playing a professional hockey game, I can control the whole team using my hands and a controller. You know, we're
hijacking a helicopter and shooting down everybody in Los Santos.
Yep. Or just making a cake. Or literally, you can do cooking in video games. You can do anything. Again, not surprised it was the winner, but it was also a number 2 seed, so wasn't a number 1 seed that came out on top. Video games.
Number 1
congratulations for taking the tournament. I know we discussed posting this fillable document for those of you that do end up listening to this. If you'd like to fill it out, post it somewhere on social media, maybe post it in the comments of the YouTube video section, anywhere you'd like to put. You can tag us and things if you post it on social media. I think it was a fun thing to do, even if you just did it by yourself. It's almost like a personality test too, a little bit. You know, like who are you? What do you like to do? So, Garrett,
I do it by myself all the time.
Again, the video is not on here, but that face was pretty undeniably great. I wish we could just cut to that face at that point and say, this is what was happening.
We might be able to make something happen.
I heard whack it, not bracket, and that's why I ended up there.
That lost, buddy.
All right. So with that brings us to the end of this little segment, and we have easily over an hour's worth of content here for this return special edition coronavirus update episode. Once again, to those of you out there, be careful, be safe, stay clean.
Make smart decisions.
Make smart decisions, yeah. We're going to get through it. We'll get through it all together.
Stay informed.
Drink some alcohol.
Use protection.
Know your rights.
Alcohol kills the virus. You heard it here first.
Oh.
All right. Do we want to go ahead and close it out, fellas?
Let's wrap her up.
All right. We've already discussed it. We're going to be trying to do a couple more episodes while we're all quarantined, so keep a lookout for that. Overall, it's nice to be back. Nice to see you fellas in the ring again. I look forward to the future of our episodes once again. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We will see you next time on the Ramble on the Mountain podcast.
I guess I've